In a packed Jacksonville courtroom on a sweltering August day, all eyes weren't just on the defendant, but on an unexpected spectator. Amid the tense murder trial of rapper Ksoo Robinson, one figure stood out from the crowd. A young white woman seated quietly in the back, clutching a phone and a notebook as if on a personal mission. She was easy to spot, an unfamiliar face among Ksoo's family and friends, and the only person repeatedly mouthing the words "Free Sue" under her breath. Every time the deputies led Sue in or out, she would straighten up, as if her presence alone might somehow comfort him. From the beginning, there was something almost cinematic about her dedication. Day after day, hearing after hearing, she showed up. She sat through graphic testimony and legal jargon with unwavering focus. Occasionally, a faint smile would cross her face when Sue glanced back or when his lawyers scored a point. She seemed undeterred by the gravity of the charges or the horrific details being discussed. If anything, each revelation only steeled her resolve. Whispers started circulating in the halls of the courthouse. Who is she? Reporters, spectators, even court officials noticed her constant attendance. Was she a relative no one had heard of? A devoted fan? Some even joked she might be Ksoo's secret girlfriend, given her loyalty. Yet the Robinson family, who knew everyone in KSU's inner circle, appeared as baffled as anyone. They exchanged confused glances whenever she walked in behind them. She didn't quite belong, and that made her impossible to ignore. As the trial pressed on, tension mounted, not just from the gruesome evidence and high-stakes testimony, but from the silent drama unfolding in the gallery. This mysterious woman's steadfast presence was about to turn from a quiet curiosity into an explosive confrontation. Little did anyone know, the real drama was not confined to the witness stand. To understand the intensity in that courtroom, you have to know what was at stake. Ksoo Robinson wasn't just another rapper in legal trouble. He was on trial for first-degree murder, accused of gunning down 23-year-old Charles "Lil Buck" McCormick in 2020. This was a high-profile case that had gripped Jacksonville's rap scene and drawn national attention amid deep gang-related tensions. The courtroom was often packed with both Ksoo's supporters and those seeking justice for the victim. Armed deputies flanked the room. Each day felt like a powder keg about to blow. And, as if the case wasn't dramatic enough, one of the prosecution's key witnesses was none other than Ksoo's own father. Yes, Ksoo's father, Abdul Robinson Sr., had made the shocking decision to testify against his son. In a gang feud turned family drama, the elder Robinson cut a deal with prosecutors in exchange for leniency in his own charges. When he took the stand and pointed a finger at Hakeem, it sent a ripple of gasps through the courtroom. Imagine the turmoil for KSU's family. A father against his son, airing deadly secrets in front of strangers. Emotions ran raw. Betrayal hung heavy in the air. Case's mother sat in the front row, eyes red from crying, witnessing her family split in two. This trial was tearing bonds apart in the harshest way possible. Amid these tense proceedings, that white woman's presence became even more curious. Here was an outsider seemingly more loyal than blood. When QIO's own kin was helping the state build a case that could put him away for life, this stranger remained steadfastly on his side. Every time something went against Sue in court, a damning testimony. A piece of evidence, observers would see that woman shake her head in quiet disbelief, as if refusing to accept anything negative about him. In a trial full of twists, she was one more enigma. What did she know, or believe, that no one else did? As the trial days piled up, so did her appearances. By the second or third hearing, everyone knew to expect that woman in the gallery. She arrived early, often before even some of KSU's family. If Sue was let in wearing an orange jumpsuit and shackles, she would nod at him, mouthing, "Stay strong." During recess breaks, while others milled about or stepped outside for air, she remained behind, eyes glued to the defense table as if keeping vigil over KSU's empty chair. Her dedication was unwavering and increasingly unreserved. It wasn't long before courthouse regulars began trading theories. Some whispered she might be a long-lost friend or an obsessed superfan. A few joked darkly that she was a future Mrs. Robinson in her own mind, willing to stick it out through thick and thin. On social media, blurry clips from the courtroom showed her silhouette in the back row, and commenters started calling her QSU's ride or die, or even his soulmate, half in jest, half in awe. Within QSU's inner circle, however, it was clear she was a stranger. When pressed quietly by a curious onlooker, one of QI's cousins shrugged and admitted none of them knew the lady. She was truly an enigma who had latched onto QI's cause. Interestingly, the mystery woman did little to hide her motivations. On one occasion, another young woman, rumored to be the mother of one of X's kids, was notably absent from court. Seizing the moment, the white woman reportedly quipped that she was showing up when others weren't, in her blunt style. She allegedly remarked, "I'm making these dates when them other bitches not," implying that while other women in QSO's life failed to show up, she would. Such a bold claim, relayed by stunned onlookers, hinted at a brewing conflict. She wasn't just attending quietly anymore. She was staking a claim, suggesting she was more devoted than anyone else in KOS life. With each passing day, she grew bolder, and the line between support and intrusion thinned. The stage was set for a showdown that now seemed almost inevitable. The simmering tension finally exploded one morning in August 2024. During a break in proceedings, as people lingered in the courthouse hallway, Ksoo's family decided they'd had enough of the mysterious interloper. Ksoo's mother, flushed with anger and pain, approached the white woman with fire in her eyes. "Why are you here? Who are you?" she demanded, voice trembling with emotion. Other relatives closed in behind her, insisting the woman explain herself. In that charged moment, months of curiosity and frustration boiled over. Surrounded by Ksoo's kin, the woman did not shrink back. Instead, she raised her voice. "Free Ksoo," she shouted, finally screaming the rallying cry she'd only whispered before. Emboldened by adrenaline, she pushed even further. "And it's still free all them. Nee ***s. She added defiantly, brazenly, using a racial slur to proclaim her loyalty to Ksoo and his crew. A collective gasp rippled through the hallway. The audacity of a white woman using that word stunned everyone within earshot. One of Ksoo's cousins snapped back in disgust. "They don't even know you. Girl, nobody knows you." To Ksoo's family, she was an interloper with no business inserting herself into their crisis. A court officer eyed the commotion, ready to intervene as voices escalated. But the woman held her ground. Her face was eerily calm despite the chaos. Inches away, instead of cowering, she squared her shoulders and looked Ksoo's mother dead in the eye. "I got time and gas money," she declared evenly, making it clear she had no intention of backing down. Her words echoed down the corridor with stubborn resolve. In that instant, it was clear this wasn't mere fandom. It was obsession, or something perilously close to it. For a moment, the hallway fell silent. Even QSO's relatives, at a loss for words, couldn't believe her nerve. Finally, a deputy stepped in, ushering the agitated family back toward the courtroom and instructing the woman to leave the premises. She ultimately turned and walked off, but not before shooting one last defiant look over her shoulder and softly muttering "Free Ksoo" as she exited. The showdown was over inside the courthouse, at least unbeknownst to everyone there. A spectator's cell phone had captured the entire explosive exchange on video. By that afternoon, the footage would be posted online, and a whole new storm was about to begin. By that evening, the confrontation had escaped the courthouse and exploded onto the internet. The phone footage was posted to Instagram, X formerly Twitter, and YouTube, quickly racking up thousands of views. One popular hip-hop page even captioned the clip, "KO's family asked random woman to stop showing up to his court dates," instantly framing the narrative. In the shaky video, Casey's mother can be seen gesturing angrily, while the white woman's face remains eerily calm as she shouts back her now infamous line, "I got time and gas money." The online world ate it up. Reactions poured in from all corners. Part of the internet was in disbelief. Was this woman crazy or the most loyal fan ever? Memes sprung up overnight. Some users joked they needed a partner as committed as her. "Every man needs one woman like that," one commenter wrote approvingly. Others turned her catchphrase into punchlines, tweeting things like, "I got gas money and time," mood with laughing emojis. The phrase became a shorthand for unwavering dedication. As one amused viewer noted, "I got gas money and time is a good line for a lot of situations." Clearly, the absurd boldness of her declaration had struck a chord on social media. At the same time, many were alarmed by what they saw. "She's insane, but very calm and collected. Very dangerous individual," one user observed warily. People swapped stories of stalkers and obsessed fans, debating whether she'd crossed the line from devoted to deranged. Plenty sided with KOS family, saying they had every right to kick her out. A few even felt sympathy for KOS's mother, dealing with her son's life on the line and this unwanted distraction all at once. Still, there were those who oddly admired the woman's tenacity. "His mother blocking that man blessing. She got gas money in time, lol," another commenter quipped, suggesting that families should appreciate that kind of loyalty. Within 24 hours, the mystery woman had become a viral folk figure in the rap community, praised, mocked, feared, and marveled at all at once. The courtroom clip spread beyond Jacksonville. prompting debates on blogs, forums, and live streams in barbershops and group chats. Everyone suddenly had an opinion about that girl with the gas money and time. The viral spectacle begged a troubling question. What on earth was driving this woman's devotion? To most, it seemed baffling. Yet, from her perspective, perhaps it made a kind of sense. Maybe she genuinely believed in KSU's innocence, seeing him not as a notorious gang member, but as a misunderstood underdog who needed someone, anyone, in his corner. With even KSU's own father betraying him, perhaps she felt it was up to her to provide the loyalty his own blood wouldn't. In her mind, she might have been saving him one court date at a time. It's not unheard of for strangers to become fixated on criminal cases. Women have even shown up at trials for men they've never met, professing support. This mystery woman seemed to fit that pattern. She wasn't content to just tweet #FreeKSOO or wear a slogan on a shirt. She had to physically be there, as if on a mission. Perhaps driving to court each day gave her life purpose. Each free Ksoo shout a personal pledge of allegiance. What looked like senseless obsession to others likely felt like righteous dedication to her. There's also the allure of the ride-or-die archetype in rap lore. In countless songs and tales, a woman who stands by her man through the worst is celebrated as the ultimate partner. Maybe our protagonist cast herself in that role. By proving she had time and gas money to burn for Ksoo, she signaled that she could be that ride-or-die, the one person who wouldn't abandon him when things got real. It's a dramatic, romanticized part to play, and she embraced it. Fully, of course. Simpler motives might have been at play. She could have been lonely or adrift, latching onto KSU's case to give her life meaning and gain some attention in the process. In the social media age, even negative notoriety can be seductive, and she certainly got attention. Her face now known across the internet, maybe she imagined a personal bond with Ksoo through his music or story, one so powerful that she felt compelled to be there for him in real life. The truth lies locked in her own heart. But one thing is certain, what appeared irrational to most people was, in her eyes, an act of loyalty, however misguided or extreme it may have been. From the family's perspective, the woman's behavior was more than an odd distraction, it was an affront. For weeks, KSU's loved ones had endured the agony of the trial. Graphic evidence, hostile accusations, even the looming betrayal of KSU's father agreeing to testify for the state. Emotions were already at a breaking point. So when a random outsider kept appearing and inserting herself into this ordeal, it felt like an intrusion into their private pain. KSU's mother, especially, was under immense strain. Her son's life hung in the balance, and her family was splintering under all the pressure. To see a stranger, a young white woman with no known connection, boldly acting like KSU's #1 supporter was almost insulting. It was as if this woman claimed a loyalty deeper than family, as if implying she cared more for Ksoo than those who raised him. That indignation likely fueled the explosive hallway confrontation. The anger in KSU's mother's voice, "They don't even know you," came from a place of fierce protectiveness and wounded pride. In her eyes, this woman had no right to involve herself, and by using a racial slur and causing a scene, the woman was also disrespecting the seriousness of the proceedings. Other relatives shared the sentiment. They didn't trust this interloper's intentions. Was she chasing clout off KSU's name? Was she unhinged and potentially dangerous? In a trial already fraught with drama, the last thing they wanted was a sideshow that could somehow reflect poorly on Ksoo in front of the jury. To them, throwing her out was a way of protecting Ksoo. As one family member muttered afterward, shaking their head, "We don't need no extra mess." Some outsiders would later quip that the family was slow for chasing off someone so devoted that they were blocking that man's blessing by pushing away a person willing to help KSU's cause. But the Robinsons weren't having it. In their view, keeping the trial free of distractions was the only sensible choice. This courtroom battle was theirs to fight, and they weren't about to let a self-appointed ride-or-die derail it. The family's fury, then, is easier to understand. It was the roar of wounded pride and desperate love, colliding head-on with a fanatic devotion they simply could not abide. This bizarre incident shows how blurred the line can be between rap fandom and real-life crime. KRC's trial itself was a collision of entertainment and reality. A gangland murder case wrapped up in Jacksonville's drill rap feud. Fans had followed KSU's music and beefs like a dramatic saga, tossing around Free Ksoo on social media as a slogan. But usually, those words stay on t-shirts and hashtags. Rarely does a fan carry that energy into an actual courtroom the way this woman did, turning a legal proceeding into part of the spectacle. In today's clout-chasing era, the trials of famous rappers can feel like public theater. Serious proceedings get live-tweeted and meme-feed, and sometimes supporters behave as if they're at a show. This woman's courtroom outburst was a stark example. She treated a murder trial like a fan. Meet and greet with her idol. It was the kind of stunt you'd expect in a satire, except it unfolded in a real courthouse with real stakes. Her extreme devotion underscores the almost tribal loyalty that exists in rap culture, where some fans internalize an artist's struggles as if they were their own. But it's also a cautionary tale about distorted perception. Amid the memes and catchphrases, it's easy to forget that a man was killed and another man's freedom was on the line. The trial was not a music video or an Instagram skit. It was a solemn proceeding that could determine if Hakeem Robinson spends the rest of his life in prison. Yet for a moment, online chatter fixated on this fan's wild behavior more than the tragedy at the case's core. It raises a disquieting question. Have we become so desensitized that a murder trial can be treated as just another viral sideshow where a catchy one-liner overshadows the gravity of real violence? Ultimately, the woman's stunt became a footnote in Q's story, an uncanny collision of internet clout chasing and courtroom reality. It showed how perception can skew priorities. To her, she was heroically supporting her favorite rapper, but to everyone else, she was overstepping into a realm where fandom doesn't trump fact. The cultures of online hype and criminal justice briefly collided, reminding us that the lines between them are very real indeed. After all the drama, one fundamental question remained. Who was this woman, and what was she to sue? Despite gossip and memes dubbing her Ksoo's white girlfriend, there is no evidence she had any real relationship with him. In fact, according to Ksoo's family and allegedly Ksoo himself, they had never even met. She wasn't a witness or mentioned in any official capacity at the trial. Her involvement was entirely self-initiated, based solely on her own actions in the courtroom. Whatever relationship existed was one-sided, a product of her fixation rather than any mutual connection. To this day, the woman's true identity remains mostly unknown. Internet sleuths never uncovered a definitive name. She's simply remembered by nicknames like the Free Ksoo Lady or that court date girl. Was she a stalker? A superfan with an innocent crush? A clout chaser who saw an opportunity? We may never know for sure because she hasn't spoken out to explain herself. It's quite possible that after the August 2024 incident blew up, she quietly receded from the spotlight. Being confronted by Ksoo's family and becoming a viral subject may have dissuaded her from ever returning to court. Without her side of the story, her motivations remain a matter of speculation. In the end, her impact on Ksoo's case was negligible, more spectacle than substance. By mid-2025, Hakeem Ksoo Robinson was found guilty of first-degree murder and faced life in prison. All her cries of free Ksoo hadn't changed that outcome. Ironically, once Ksoo was convicted, some onlookers joked that he might actually wish he hadn't shunned such a devoted supporter. Bro gonna want her around after he gets sentenced, one commenter laughed. Ultimately, the connection between Ksoo and this mystery woman lives only in rumor and imagination. She remains a curious footnote in his story, a symbol of extreme loyalty that neither he nor the courts ever officially acknowledged. The lingering questions about her, was it love or obsession, earnest support or self-serving notoriety, have no clear answers, and perhaps that lingering mystery is part of what keeps her story so intriguing, even now that the main saga of Ksoo's trial has reached its end. The saga of Ksoo and his unexpected defender is more than a quirky footnote. It's a reflection on loyalty and reality in the rap world. It's a story where perception was everything. To her, a ride-or-die partner. To his family, a dangerous nuisance. To the internet, an entertaining spectacle. Her tale shows how easily the lines blur between genuine support and unhealthy obsession. Between being a fan and overstepping into someone's life, this drama delivered stark contradictions. Unwavering loyalty came from an unlikely stranger, while betrayal came from within Ksoo's own family. One person's absolute conviction that she must stand by him clashed with others' view that she was unhinged. It was a direct collision of perceptions and a reminder that in the arena of fame, perception can eclipse reality. The incident also forces a hard look at fan culture. In rap and beyond, fans can feel such personal connection to artists that they blur the boundary between idol and friend. Social media encourages this, rewarding extreme displays of devotion with viral attention. But as this case showed, that blur can lead into uncomfortable or dangerous territory. When admiration crosses into obsession, when support ignores the actual needs or wishes of its target, loyalty loses its shine and becomes perilous. In theory, having someone fight for you so fervently appeals to our deep desire for unwavering support. But in reality, Blind loyalty can backfire badly as the dust settles. Ksoo remains behind bars and the unnamed woman has faded from view, but the questions her story raises linger. Where is the line between a devoted supporter and a deluded stalker? This saga offers no easy answer. It simply cautions us that loyalty and perception can diverge wildly, and the blurred lines between rap fandom and personal relationships can lead to unexpected consequences. Ultimately, the free saga reminds us that life isn't a music video, it's real, and actions have consequences. And as we close this chapter, one image stands out. A young woman in a courthouse hallway, chin raised, declaring, "I got time and gas money." It's a symbol of loyalty taken to the extreme. Whether we see her as steadfast or misguided, her story challenges us to rethink our own definitions of loyalty and to recognize how easily perception can turn devotion into something else entirely.